after many questions, I've been asked to do these undisguised now, so I don't give a shit. So it's undisguised. Subscribe to this YouTube channel and stuff. I hope you can fucking understand them now, because people are moaning. My name's Will, I'm a real werewolf. I'm telling my story here to... I'm not allowed to say your name, am I? Sorry. In part of this, I'm trying to tell you why you are moralistically pathetic, why I hate humans, why I fucking don't mind killing you, why I'm not guilty about killing you, why I like to kill you, yeah. Also, I like to think of myself to try and teach you something philosophically, yeah, that as well, about yourself. So, I think this is about the 5th or 6th time I'm basically telling you why you're shit, okay? But I'm also giving you opportunities to think about it and see if you can find ways out from being shit. So, go back and listen to the ones on why I hate humans, why you're not humane, all those kind of things, just go and listen to them because it'll teach you something. I've written these down, so if you think I'm reading them, it's because I'm reading them because I tried to do them free flow, but it didn't work. And I tried to do a question and answer session with him, but he's fucking useless. He's supposed to be some kind of expert, but he's fucking useless. Don't look at me like that. You are useless. You're a human. Fucking humans are useless. It's okay, don't worry. It was not the realisation of the poor and the impoverished that ended empires and civilizations for you idiots. They did not rise and take back the power from their betters. It was just that in the short amount of time you had adapted to farming and been able to produce large cities and towns, that in fact you were unable to effectively evolve the necessary skills to work together in huge numbers. Groups of 150 again, at that number functioned excellently, but as the numbers grew higher, then the ability for society to function became impossible without the application of bullshit. The fall of empires has often been down to their size and their lack of effective communication. The ability to communicate and the ability for population to work together became impossible with too many people. That is why you struggle so. That is why you break off into factions and groups. That is why you eventually things fuck up for you and mass murder and genocide occur. Systems collapse and empires break down. You rely on myths, religions and political systems to bring large numbers of humans together, and the way your society worked was not to bring about the cooperation of the masses, but to oppress them and then exploit them. The ruling classes started to demand taxes. These would take the money from the poor farmers that made up about 90% of the population and use them to tax to fund the lives, luxury and protection of the elite standard of living. Myths and religions would protect the elite classes. Let us look at one social, societal model from our past, a code based on what the gods ordered, similar to that laid down in the Christian Bible, but preceding that nonsense by a few centuries. There was a king of an empire. You could tell he was a king because he was a descendant of a god, or so he told his society, and maybe he believed it. His name was Hammurabi, I think. Hammurabi, yeah, that as well. And he ruled across Mesopotamia around 1800 years BC. In 1771 BC, his son of God, he set down a code for the people to live by in some 282 laws. These laws are really not a set of laws per se, but a list of enactments that should be followed if certain situations arose. They address specific cases like happenings in marriage, slavery and inheritance. They also vary in harshness with differences in gender and social status, and they're fucking made up. All of it is made up. But if the people accepted their status in life from the slave upwards to the superior man and then the divine royal family, then the whole system could bring about a success in the way of feeding and supporting its flourishing population and in the empire's expansion into other areas. These were the first retaliatory laws that we know of, and have one frequently cited law that would go on to the Old Testament: an eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. Yes, all that good old nasty shit with proper outcomes to your general fuck-ups. The punishments were often barbaric to the minds of you modern humans, but they seemed fair to me. If you're going to make shit up, then at least have the guts to be vicious fucks when applying those rules. I do admire that bit of Mr. Mesopotamia's laws. They're also part of the first law-based system that had the presumption of innocence until proven otherwise, not like my own laws that are based on the fact that all you fuckers are guilty of something. Oh, and it even established a minimum wage given the specific jobs and how much they should be paid. How's that for modern thinking? My favourite part, and the one bit that should continue into the modern era is that if you could not establish innocence or guilt, then the individual would be subject to trial by ordeal. Jump in that fucking river. If you live, you are innocent, and you win all the other person's lands. If you die, he gets them, and you're dead. I love that shit. Oh, and a lot of the laws are punishable by death sentence, which is particularly awesome. Here we go with some of my favourite rules of Hammurabi. Must be Hammurabi. 129. If a man's wife be surprised in flagranti delictio with another man, fucking him that is, both shall be tied and thrown into the water, but the husband may pardon his wife and the king his slaves. Rule 132. If a builder builds a house for someone and does not construct it properly, and the house which he built falls in and kills its owner, then the builder shall be put to death. Rule 257. If anyone hires a field labourer, and he shall pay him 8 gur of corn per year. Rule 157. If anyone be guilty of incest with his mother after his father, both shall be burned. Some excellent rules and punishments there. This set of rules was provided by the gods so that the strong could not oppress the weak, which is bullshit. It was handed down to Hammurabi so that he could stop the evil and the wicked getting ahead. Brilliant thinking on some layers' point. It only had a huge slant to those in powerful positions. But God wanted the people to be all protected. What a God. He is thinking of all these lowly souls but focusing on the most important in the hierarchy, obviously. A strange law for our modern mindset is the one where if a superior man kills the daughter of another superior man, then the murderer's daughter is forfeit and executed as a punishment. Brilliant, huh? Because the man owned his daughter. She was seen as just the goods of his, a material thing, and her innocence and the fact that she'd done nothing wrong in reality meant fuck all. She was just a thing that the man owned and could be taken away as punishment. The loss of his daughter would be thought to teach him a greater lesson than locking him up or killing him. The man who did the fucking murder. Maybe this law would be more effective now. It's all makey-uppy story that means some got everything at the cost of those that give a lot. We still live in a very similar system in the here and now. Let's look at America. The American founding fathers got together to kick the English asses out of their country. Oh, wait a minute. The new Americans did not know it at all. It was not their fucking country to kick the English out of. Not that the English owned it either. They'd stolen it from the Native Americans. Hey, but let's pretend that these white thieves owned this country. When they kicked the English out, they wrote the Declaration of Independence. This was a really funny one though, because unlike the Hammurabi laws, it pretended that all humans were equal. Sorry, not all humans. I keep forgetting that back then women were like only material goods. That all men were equal, that's what they meant. Unless of course you are a Native American or a slave or of a different race or poor. No, wait, they definitely said everyone is equal at birth. Everyone is equal and that they get to pursue life, liberty and happiness. Whatever the fuck happiness is. Of course, both these codes, if followed correctly, would allow millions of hairless apes who had not evolved to cooperate at such a high population densities do so successfully. They get to live peacefully in a just society. Ah ha ha. Ha ha ha, you fucking fools. You actually fall for that shite and you continue to fall for that shite. At least Hammurabi had it right that all humans are not equal. You really aren't, and he did not try to hide the fact in stupid so-called ineffable rights handed down by God. The thing that makes this more amusing to me is that the Americans would look at that system that Hammurabi used and say that theirs is better. They would make the argument that we are all equal under the eyes of our God. Maybe we are equal under the eyes of our God, my stupid reader, but Hammurabi did not hide the fact that people have different inherent value. What am I trying to say? Well, in reality, I'm just trying to put across that all these human rights, this moralisation, equality, and other made-uppy bollocks are not real. You fucking made them up. You also did it with a slant to those that deserve the best, the elites. What pisses me off is that brave warrior, that Marine walking into Basra or Kabul to fight for the country, that man willing to lay his life on the line to fight the rights of his people, of his country. He thinks he is protecting those people by upholding the Constitution. He is being lied to. He is not doing that. They are being conned into risking their lives for something else. Cheap oil maybe, or some utter such bollocks. Always amazes me that Americans and their pet England went into Iraq because they might have had weapons of mass destruction. If that was the case, why do we not attack places we know that do have them and have even madder bastards controlling them, like maybe North Korea? Or wait, they do not have massive energy reserves that we need, or maybe I'm just being a malicious dick, probably that. I hate the idea of equality or equanimity or whatever bollocks you call it. All that Christian nonsense about souls of people all being equal in the eyes of the Lord. Utter shite. You are not equal in any way to another being. You are either better as a totality or have different areas in which you both are better than the other. Honestly, this equality thing gets me down. We all know that we are better than others and that I am the best, don't we? Again, you're making shit up that makes you feel good about stuff. You can look at life in two ways, even though they are both wrong, because you are making them up. The hierarchy and the idea of equality are complete bollocks, although there is a natural hierarchy of beings if it just does not follow the path that you made up. For a start, the thing is, you were not created at any point by any supreme being. It was all about evolution. Yeah, I know you nutcases out there are rallying to the religious banner, but being honest, you're just plain wrong. The thing about evolution is that it's based on the differences between organisms, so the selection of those organisms can take place. Those differences that then are successful can then be passed on to the next generation as little changes that can be selected. Your DNA is full of small differences that set you apart from other humans, so at the base level, you are different. These differences in your DNA give you many variations in your mental and physical capacity. You are not equal. You cannot say that people are equal either in society or even in a democracy. They are not. You pretend they are because you think that it will help the function of society. You can also say that people in a hierarchy are different in the forms that we put on them. A slave and a master may not be different in strict manners. Masters are not always blessed with greater intelligence than slaves. Masters are not always stronger than slaves. In reality, the differences in the whole population will spread across the bell curves of reality. You have been categorized by the principles that have been created in people's heads, not in apparent biological differences. It's all weird that we work in the systems that we've made up, and as long as the majority accept it, just accept it and work within society rule sets. You do not even have to believe in the system that you're using, but as long as the majority do and impose it on all, then it will function. You are educated throughout life to have made up ideas blend into the reality of facts. Gravity exists. Maybe we cannot explain it, but gravity exists. Everyone can understand it is a fact. Capitalism exists because everyone, and the stories tell you that it does. Capitalism, unlike gravity, does not really exist. It is makey-uppy, but you tell the youngsters that it is real, and that is how it exists. Santa Claus does not exist. A big sorry to those who believe otherwise and to those mad cunts who know he does. He does not exist. He's a story made up for children. Children believe that he exists, and this lovely red-wearing man has lists of naughty and nice treats and treats them respectively. Can you imagine the horror and stress that may set up in a child? In the future, the poor little bastard has their dreams crushed either by the guilt-ridden or uncaring parent or their peers at school. Santa Claus is not real. The child learns that mum and dad, if they have them, lied to them and thought that it was okay. We lie to children as part of their everyday education. That's what your elders do to you. Mum and dad have equivalated by the rich and the government. They tell you lies that you believe to make the world work.